Yeah. We put in work and here's the proof. What you want?
I'm making moves, punching in.
I'm on it too.
I'm in the gym.
I'm in the stew.
It's hunting season.
Where's the food?
We push each other daily, level up.
Cause that's what brothers do.
Clock in.
It's a different vibe tonight, man.
It's Friday night, man. Friday Night Live.
Yes, sir.
Friday Night Live, man. We got the lights on, baby. High school football canceled. Got y'all, man. Friday Night Lights.
Shout out to Russell. Neek in the building. We also got another special guest, man. We got our girl Ashley Sutton.
Ashley Sutton in the building.
Yeah, man.
Round of applause. Yes, sir. Go way back, man. Like 05, man. It's been like 15 years since we done Ashley. You know what I'm saying? She's clocking in, doing her photography, man. So she came to help us out, you know what I'm saying? Get some shots of a special episode.
Yeah, man.
So before we get into all that, we forget to introduce ourselves
Yeah, we do that all the time.
all the time, man. Clock in, co-host. We got Marshall Hamilton here.
Austin Hamilton, a.k.a. You got something for me?
A Bucket.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's a kind of new joint. What else we got? A Smooth.
Sure.
Friday night, a boogie.
Hey,
Boogie.
Boogie.
Hey
Hey,
Boog.
Boogie. Let me turn me
Hey
up.
Heezy. Hey Heezy.
Turn me up. Oh, man. No, 20, man. This is a big time milestone, man. 20 straight weeks.
Episode 20, man.
Like,
That's a clock in, baby.
Come on, man. We've been doing
Clock
it.
in.
Man. We've been doing it.
Clock in.
It's a blessing, man. We wouldn't be able to do it without, God first, most importantly, but, having Nico and E hop on board and, follow the movement and believe in the movement. It's only going to get stronger.
Yes, sir.
But, yeah, man. Congrats to you, too, man.
Hey, man.
This is a
Teamwork
big
makes the
time.
dream work, man.
This is big time stuff, man.
Got another shout out. She isn't here, but we just added someone to the team. Her name's Julie.
Yep.
She's been helping us with our social media this week.
Shout out to Julie.
Shout out to Julie. She gotta listen to the pod, man. So we gotta talk to her about that. She
been fake.
she been slacking, but she been helping us with the social media.
Oh, hold on. We forgot about Nipsey, man.
Oh yeah, let's rewind, man.
Come
hey
on,
man,
man.
episode 20.
Come on, man. Come on.
We got Nip in the building.
Neighborhood Nip, man.
This man's getting nice with the drops.
I'm getting better, man.
Hey
I'm
Nip,
getting better.
what you got to say for us? That's it?
That's what Nip got to say.
Alright.
I got something to say to you too, man. You ready?
Can you describe what you're feeling right now?
When I came back to bring a championship to the city, I gave everything that I had. I put my heart, my blood, my sweat, my tears to this game, and Cleveland, this is for you.
You won 2 titles. Why does this one feel different?
I'm home.
I'm home, man. I'm home, man. I'm home. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, man, that I'm here. I did it for you, clock in. I came back. I said what I was gonna do. Come back, bring clock in a title, and I did so, man. I did so.
Clock in. Clock in.
Let's get it. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Come on, man. Don't ever doubt me, man. Come on. So Ashley, you might be a little confused, but so we do these top 5 lists, right? Mm-hmm. And we do a poll to see who has a better list. And much like Golden State against Cleveland in 2016, they got up 3-1. Marshall got up 3-1, you know, in the list. And I told him, I don't remember the episode. You have a good memory. You remember the episode?
I don't remember.
You
Might have
remember?
been game 6. Might have been
It might,
episode 6.
yeah, it might have been. But I told him, me and LeBron have similar qualities, and I'm gonna come back from 3-1, and I'm gonna get the title. And here we are now. How do you feel? I know there's a mic here, but I want to give you this mic.
So I've been talking to some people on Capitol Hill,
Hill.
specifically the Senate Intelligence Committee,
Okay.
to see what type of collusion and just lack of integrity, lack of just. It was disappointing to see how the lengths that someone could go to get a win.
What
so
are you
I have
talking
some
about?
people looking into it.
Okay, Aisha Curry.
Looking into the votes.
Okay, you remember when Aisha was like,
It's okay.
this game was rigged.
If you get subpoenaed, you'll know why.
Okay.
You'll know why. Okay. Here's the only thing I'll say, man.
This is for you, Clockin.
Here's the only thing I'll say. I pride myself on being genuine, authentic, and having integrity. Okay, integrity.
And I pride myself on winning. But continue.
So as you guys can probably hear, he went to some extreme.
Can we talk about the list
of just to win, man.
Let's tell the listeners and the viewers. Shout out to the YouTube viewership. Hit that subscribe and comment and like button.
All right, let's do this real quick,
Yeah, let's go through the list.
All right, I'm gonna go through your list.
Okay, fine.
I'm gonna go through your list.
Yeah.
Usually we go through our own list. I'm going through your list.
Hey, Nico, can you my ring? You have a contact for that, right? I need to get fitted for that. Okay. Go ahead.
You might as well get mine together too, because when the committee reviews the travesty, in the words of my man Stephen A. Smith, it was asinine what he did. So all right, you'll see why.
But there are others who we're not really putting time in. We're not putting the work in. We're not clocking in so that we can do what God is calling us to do.
Oh man! Shout out to Pops, dog. You weren't clocking in.
God called me to tell. Hey, look, listen. God called me to tell the truth.
Okay.
The truth will set you free. You hear me?
Hey,
It set you free.
all right.
A man named Moses said that. Okay, Exodus
You going to the old
chapter 7, verse 3.
preach? Man.
Clock in.
Preach.
Clock in.
Okay. You kind of look like.
All right, come on, go to the list. Go to the list. Go to the list.
All right, man. So his list, number 1 was holes.
I mean, come on.
I'll give him that because I know he watched the movie and he liked the movie. He read the book. All right, that's a real pick for him. It's a genuine pick. Hunger Games, he liked it.
I read all 3 books.
He liked it. So
You can look at.
it
You
to
can look
him.
on our. We live together. You can look at the bookcase.
People got a lot of books they don't read. You know how many books I read on my bookcase? I mean, a dang thing. It look good though.
What's the percentage of books you read on our bookcase?
We don't gotta talk about that today. We don't gotta talk about that today.
Shooting from the field on books you read.
Oh man, we need to talk about that, man, because a lot of y'all be having some beautiful bookcases filled with books. I ain't read none of them joints.
First of all,
Right.
at our house, how many we got every encyclopedia since 80.
Is that a black people thing?
What?
I don't know. Y'all got
black people.
Ashley, all right. Ashley's black. Y'all got almanacs?
Then we have a children's almanac.
Okay, just because George Washington Carver created the almanac, now all of a sudden we gotta have almanacs and encyclopedias.
Golden Book Encyclopedia.
Right.
Yeah, we had the
The Golden Book
Yep.
and the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Whole time
I had
though.
like a few of those. I had like R and the letter W.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
One of, not the whole set.
We had the whole set. I don't know why, but whole time though. Whole
We did
time
have the whole
though.
set.
Every now and then, that joint would come in handy for some
Facts.
project, homework assignment.
It wasn't easy to go to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
I'm
it
trying to
wasn't
go to the
cute,
library.
But yeah.
I lost my card after I got the card. Like that hour, I
You
lost
lost
the
it in the
card.
book?
Yeah, I lost
Yeah,
that.
you lost it in the book.
Yeah, man. But back to this list, man. Friday Night Lights. It's a good
Great
pick.
book. Great pick.
Great pick.
Great movie.
Here's
You can't look. Nah, I'm not.
I look like Derek Luke.
Like, was it Booby?
Yeah, that's Derek Luke. Booby bags in every
Alright.
movie he's in.
Are we gonna be silly tonight?
It's
think
only
that's
right.
where it's going, bro.
For now.
Oh man,
for
it's
now.
Friday. It's
All right.
Friday.
Here's where things get. This is where the lack of integrity comes in. Because again, I've lived with this guy. We shared a room for about 17 and a half years. Okay, I know what this guy has watched.
I'm 27 now.
I know what he likes. Number 4 is all right. Nipsey. I hear you, big dog. Number 4 was Harry Potter. Harry Potter. All right.
I don't see any problems with that pick.
We weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter or read it growing
First
up.
of all, I actually saw the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I saw that with a friend. Actually, it was a party. We went and saw the movie. So
We weren't
go
allowed-
ahead. Go
we
ahead.
weren't allowed to
No,
read.
keep
Did
going.
y'all dress up?
We
Nah,
weren't allowed
heck
to
no.
read
Heck
Harry
no.
Potter, anything with witchcraft.
Heck no.
So you're telling me, out of all the movies that came from books, this is your number 4 favorite movie that came from a book.
Okay, can you read the title for me?
Top 5 list of books that turned into movies. This is your top 5, meaning your
When-
favorite 5.
No. When did it have to be my favorite?
So here we go. This guy's talking about.
Am I
The
right?
Notebook.
Be top dog, but he ain't got to be your favorite.
No.
Then the Notebook.
I'm trying to
Have
win.
you seen The Notebook?
Guys, I'm trying to win.
Have you seen the Notebook? So you're
I actually have. It's actually a pretty good movie. I might lose some street cred for that, but
that's in your top 5.
sure.
He said sure. Come on, guys.
Hey man, each his
This
own.
man out here wilding
Sure,
for
man.
respect, man. Wilding for selling his soul for votes, man. It's
I don't
crazy.
know
That
about
sounds
that.
familiar.
Sounds familiar.
During election time. Sounds
I'm
familiar.
the least book reading movie
Yeah,
after
yeah,
a book
it's-
guy you know.
So
Look,
his 4 and 5, man. Come on, dog. I'll go through my list since I'm talking about it, and I lost. So I can do what I can. It's my podcast. I can do what I want right
you
now.
can.
All right.
You can.
The Godfather. Come
I
on,
don't.
man.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's one of the top movies of all time.
Yeah, but I don't really.
Just 'cause
I
you're-
don't know too many people that have read the Godfather book. All the books that I listed, people have read. Maybe Friday Night Lights.
It was top 5 movies that came from books. We didn't say you had to read the book since we want to get all technical about it not being
okay,
your favorite.
but
5.
again, the books matter though. The books are, to me, that was the most important part.
top 5 list of books that turn. First of all, this isn't even. It's top 5 movies that came from books. This is why there's confusion. Books
Well,
that turn into movies.
Tell Julie that she made a graphic. She
Yeah, we may have to talk about her employment after this and she voted for you too. So that's another.
She did.
thing.
Shout out to Julie, man.
And
I appreciate it.
I risked some things to get her this job. So
Oh,
you guys may hear about another social media manager of the Clock In next week. Forrest Gump. Come on, dog.
Again,
The
I
classic.
don't know too many people that have read that book. If we were going by
O's.
movies, yes.
That's what I texted you this. See, he texted Julie on the side said, all right, we're gonna switch movies and books.
No.
And you know, I wasn't paying attention.
When I hear that title and that when we're coming with the list, I'm going in the order of a really good book that turned into a really good movie. That's what I'm going for.
I said top 5 movies that came from books. That was the topic we discussed. But again, the Senate Intelligence
it's the
Committee.
same thing.
No, it's not. Because you're
a
talking
movie
about
that came from a book. The book
Top
came
5
first.
Yeah,
movies.
it's on different things.
Exactly. It is. It's a big difference.
You
'Cause-
care about where it's coming from. You're caring about how it ended up.
Exactly.
But
So
we're-
we may have to do a revote. We may have to do a
We
recount.
don't need to do anything. You took that out. Come on.
Number 3, holes. I mean, if you don't have holes on your list, there's something wrong with you. If you're a millennial, Lord of the Rings. Another joint that just a classic. And then my 5 was Hunger Games. So
Have you seen Lord of the Rings? I've never seen that.
yeah, I've seen multiple versions of Lord of the Rings.
You've seen the whole Lord of the Rings?
I've never seen. He hasn't. He's
I've
lying.
seen a Lord of the Rings movie, just like
I've seen. Okay.
That's a
All right.
whole long time.
Yeah. Okay, Ashley.
3 hours.
Ashley, whose list were you going to vote for?
Yo, Godfather's like in my top 5 just
Okay.
because it's a dope movie.
So it's okay, Marshall. You can say Marshall. It's all good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna count that vote. I lost by 2 votes, by the way.
You did.
So I need to do a recount to see
Voting matters.
if there is,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, Austin's known for having some burner accounts.
No, man. I mean, if I voted, it would
I
have
don't
been
think so.
1 vote closer.
You know what I'm saying?
Or one vote further away.
But anyways,
Look, man.
Look, I took the L. I'll take it like a man. But I'll let the people who investigate these things do their job.
Sure.
And you know we'll move on, man. So
I'll answer any questions I need to answer.
you gonna answer some. You gonna answer some questions.
Okay.
You gonna answer some
I've
tough
answered
questions.
questions in my life.
All right. Speaking of championships, man. Shout out to the Lakers, man.
Yeah, man. That's big time. I mean, in the bubble, unprecedented times. But when you have a leader like Bron, you know, you'll figure it out. But not. I mean, obviously LeBron is the leader of that team, but like they just had a good group of guys.
Exactly. They had a
Like,
good
they just had
culture on that team.
Yeah, like
In the locker room.
the Clippers, talent-wise, were better.
Yeah, for sure.
But you could just tell. I mean, you got freaking Lou Williams going to stadium to order wings in the midst of a pandemic, knowing you have to go back to the bubble.
Right.
Knowing stadium wings are like top tier.
Facts. I'm sizing when we say stadium. He went to some other spot.
Magic
but,
City.
Yeah, but regardless,
Yeah,
like,
Magic.
can you imagine if freaking KCP did that and had to come back to the bubble? What LeBron would have done? First of all, he probably wouldn't be in the league anymore.
No way. And that's a culture issue.
It is.
That's a culture issue, man. Shout out to LeBron, man. You know, got his 4th ring. You better play a drop or something?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you was about to play a drop, but
Dropping on you quite a bit.
Yeah.
you've been.
I've been ready, man.
You've been ready today, but
Now you got the
yeah,
West.
like you said, man. It comes down to leadership, experience, and not letting the other team's runs, letting their wins, you know, dictate your game plan and your mentality. They never panicked.
Nope.
They never panicked. The Lakers, and here's how you know you have a good team, a great team. They didn't lose 2 games in a row the whole playoffs.
No.
2 games in a row, they never lost.
Was 6? That was the most the games went, right?
Yeah, because they went 5 with the Blazers. They went,
I think it was 5, 5, 5, 6.
I don't even remember who they played in the second round.
Denver.
Denver? No. They played
Who did they play?
Houston.
Houston, yeah.
Yeah.
That went 5.
That went 5.
Denver 5
Denver
and
5,
6.
Yeah. And he ran through, you know, some of the best superstars in the league. The hottest superstars in the league.
Yep.
Dame was freaking on fire going into the playoffs.
I mean,
Harden
he
was
showed it in
cooking.
game 1.
The Rockets were cooking. Jamal Murray and Jokic cooking. Jimmy Butler and the boys, none of their series went long either for real.
No.
You know, they got
shout out to the Heat.
They
too,
got
man.
Bama's out the
Shout
way.
out to the Heat. You talk about culture. Like, that's a culture you like coming into the league. A lot of young players, they don't have that opportunity to come into a really good situation, a really good culture,
Right.
to help start their career.
Yep.
Because that start is vital, man. Like, there's a lot of players that have gone into, I mean, I'm using a different sport, but like Dwayne Haskins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, came into the Redskins and just a bad culture. And, I mean, hopefully he can find his way into the league, but like, it's not looking too good right now.
Talent will never trump culture. It
No.
can't. And the thing about both teams, the Heat and the Lakers, this is a life thing, but especially if you hoop or play a sport, everyone on both teams knew their role, and they did those roles to the highest level.
Yep.
It just so happened that you had LeBron and AD on the other side, and there's just nothing that the Heat could have really done.
That's what it came down
That's what it came down to. But every player on both teams played their role well. Danny Green, he didn't have his best playoff, experience, but he did other things. But he's really the only player I could say that was kind of not his usual self. But yeah, man, like all those other teams had more talent. The Celtics, top to bottom, are more talented. The Bucks were the number 1 seed.
They were first round, right?
Second round.
Second round?
Because they smacked the Magic. People forget the Magic were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they made it to the playoffs, but
I probably could have signed.
You probably could have signed with the Magic.
For real.
But yeah, man, I owe Kentavious Caldwell-Pope an apology.
Yeah, you do. You do.
You're still.
I do too. I can't even lie. I do too.
You're still 1 for 5 as far as like the amount. I think it's been like 3 or 4 years, but for a month and a half period, you earned your paycheck. I got to give it to you, man. The other 3.5 years, you were stealing money. Okay, you were stealing money, and
to say an NBA player is stealing
money.
Is wild.
He was stealing money, and I was gonna press charges after this year. if he did not perform at the level that he, and honestly, man, I'm joking, but in all seriousness, his job was to make open threes and defend. That's it. That's all he had to do. He finally did that. He's one of the main reasons why we won.
Huge.
He
was huge.
He did his job, man. Rondo's another guy, but Rondo's always been my guy. I can't stand KCP. And I'm actually mad that I have to give him props, but I give credit where it's due. So, man. I owe him an apology. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I mean,
when it came to the Lakers ship? Yeah,
I think, I've said this before. I've tweeted it because people are saying, like, oh, this bubble championship, doesn't really count. No, like, any championship that you get to play for and have the chance to win is huge, man. Like, it's hard, man. It's hard. Like, it's hard playing. When you get to a certain level, man, it's hard to win a game.
Yes.
Like, the amount of preparation that goes into one game, scouting reports, watching film, walkthroughs, like, there's so much preparation, man. And when I got a chance, blessed to play Division I, like, I'm talking like 2 hours of film before practice. Sometimes we would have a break after we'd get like warmed up, go back, watch more film, go on the court, walk through all their plays, walk through, out of bounds plays, freaking
worst part of practice.
Press break plays. Teams. Like literally everything. Yeah. Like the system I was in college was so detailed. So we had a chance to go through all that stuff. And like these dudes are at halftime looking at iPads trying to find an edge. Like that just shows how good these players are.
Yep. And it's more mental work than physical.
Yeah, it is. It is. So like, the conversation is always going to come, is Jordan or is Bron better than Jordan, right? Does these rings carry a certain weight? Sure, whatever. But like this bubble one, man, it was different.
Very different.
It was different.
And since Kobe passed, I don't get into that stuff anymore.
Me either, man. Because it doesn't matter.
Appreciate the people while they're here, man. You can give someone else credit without taking away credit from someone else. Another life thing. Like, just because so-and-so is getting praise, that's not taken away from potentially your praise unless you have an ego or insecurity issue. You know what I'm saying?
There's enough greatness for everybody.
Yeah, man. God put something in all of us. It's our job to maximize it. And I think that Jordan did it with basketball. Kobe did it with basketball. LeBron is doing it. Appreciate greatness, man. Learn from it. Like, the people who are debating about who is better, a lot of those people aren't succeeding in a lot of areas in their life. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you.
Especially at that level.
Like,
the percentage of people that can dominate in one thing is very, very low.
Yeah.
For that many years, come on.
Yeah.
Man.
In 1 year, man. Like it's tough. It's tough. So, like, learn from what LeBron is doing. Learn from what Kobe and Jordan have done in their mentality. Like, I'm not going to spend my time. I'm at a point in my life. I'm not spending my time arguing about if another man is better than this man in something. I get no money off of it.
No. It's fun.
It's fun to. I mean, I like Pete and Austin had a debate.
Yeah, we actually.
I was about to give him the hands. You try to come with my.
Ashley's here. I'm not.
Yeah. I was about to give him the hands. He was talking crazy, but anyways, man. Moral of the story.
It's literally what, like Tuesday. We're literally arguing
about two plays.
Yo. We're watching the Last Dance. My whole thing is, man, like,
you started the argument. I'm sitting here trying to watch. And usually I start arguments. So this is what was crazy.
Because when it comes to LeBron, like, I get defensive over LeBron because he's the only guy that's ever been this criticized and scrutinized out of any athlete ever. And anything that this guy does, oh, he should have done this, he should have done that. Well, the so-called Black Jesus, he's passed the ball in crunch time. Like, but because it's LeBron, he doesn't get that same pass. My whole thing was just like, look, man, like, Jordan has made decisions where he trusted his teammates. He's passed the ball before, and they've made shots. They probably missed shots. LeBron's done the same thing. So, like, come on, man. I know y'all want him to be a killer and all this stuff, but, like, y'all have to understand that's not him. LeBron's not going to take 40 shots like Kobe and Jordan would. He's more of a Magic than a Kobe and LeBron. So, like, come on, man. Like, understand who you're talking about. Like, but I'm getting fired up just thinking about it, man.
I mean, we're not going to recreate the argument for the people. I mean, we both stood our ground. You know, neither of us budged. I still, I'm gonna go with what I said. But we're brothers, man. We argue, and then let's go get buckets, man. Like Travis said last week.
Facts.
Go get buckets. Speaking of that, we won our game last week, Travis. So I know you said let the people know what happened.
I was out due to a little minor injury, but we're not gonna get into that. Quite embarrassed, actually, but
I'm not gonna put you on blast. But
you know what's crazy, dog? It was the same finger when we were about to go to Richmond my sophomore year. Literally the same finger.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, because
that's a good segue. That's a good segue. So,
just tell them what we're actually going to talk about.
Yeah. So, I'm not doing much talking this time, which is rare because I'm the one who usually talks too much. And if you listen to episode 10, it was, in my opinion, our best episode. We had our brothers on. We all talked about our individual basketball stories, how they connected, why we're building the Goods basketball company, and how our stories kind of tie into that. But after like an hour and a half, and we literally had to leave. Yeah. We got to Austin, and Austin didn't really get a chance to, rap about his story. So that's what today's going to be about, man. I think you all will be surprised I think you'll be inspired. I think you'll look at him differently in a good way, because Austin, he's always been the one out of all of us, in my opinion. Like, he was always the guy on his teams for the most part. But that doesn't mean he didn't go through challenges and trials and tribulations. People see the All-Med and all the other things he'll talk about, but they don't know what he had to do to get there. So that's what we'll talk about today, man. And he's repping the goods with our shirt, man. So again, tap into the YouTube so you can see all this. My man E got the good shirt.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
The old school Denver.
Old school
that's
Denver
cold.
Nuggets. The Alex English junk. Alex English.
Yeah, man.
Denver Nuggets. The Manute Bowl. Denver Nuggets. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna play the role as an interviewer. Honestly, I don't have a ton of questions prepared. I'm just gonna rock with it. You know, I am. But yeah, dog. Like, I guess just start with where the love of basketball, I guess, originated for you, man.
Yeah.
And then that'll kind of tie into other things I'll ask as you talk about your story.
Yeah, I mean, starting with you guys, like, it just kind of the domino effect. Like, Walter loved it. Brandon looked up to Walter, passed it down to Brandon, and just fell in the pecking order. And then, just growing up, seeing guys like, I grew up a big Allen Iverson fan. That was my guy, man. Like, talk about toughness. You talk about just like a competitor. And that's what I wanted to be like. He was short, like me, so I knew it wasn't gonna be tall. And he just had a swag about him, and just a different energy, man, than anyone else in the league. He's from Virginia.
Yep. Shout out to the 757, man.
7-5. And yeah, man, he really propelled it for me, like, to another level. I used to wear, I never had braids. I tried to grow my hair out, but I was like, man, I can't do this crap, man. Like, I could never get past the no hang time phase.
I shouldn't have done it. I should have never done it, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother podcast.
We're not gonna get into that. But yeah, man, it really started with you guys. We talked about this before, but like, first year we played organized. Mm-hmm. We won a championship.
Yep.
And I mean, come on, man, to start your career off with a championship, like,
at any level.
Yeah, there's no better way to start your career, man. And it wasn't easy at first. Like, we lost our first couple of games.
Yeah, it was rocky. We were getting fried in the crowd by our dad, brothers. My mom's yelling at them for yelling at us.
Yep.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it was. And then, just going up the ranks, man. Once we parted ways as far as playing together, I really found myself as a player, and like you said, I was always kind of deemed as a guy. Shout out to that Reston team, won a championship with them. And I wasn't the lead guy on that, but you could tell, like, I was one of the better players.
Well, let's go back to even before that, though, because you played up. Remember, you played up with Herndon first.
Oh, yeah,
with Coach Robinson. And I was going to say, like, you went from, winning a summer rec league championship, where you were one of the younger players. It was 9 and under. You were like 7 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're like 8. You're 8. Yeah, you're 8. And then the next year, or your next league, I should say, you played 10 and under as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And you were one of the better. You were probably the best player on that team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So how was it? I don't know if you remember. It was a minute ago. How was it making that jump, man, from, playing with me to now you're on your own and you're playing against older kids?
I do remember it was a little tough not having you there, because we were like dynamic duo, man. Like, we were a force to be reckoned with. But I remember that you could tell there was a difference. Like, I knew I was playing up. Like, the kids were bigger, stronger, faster. But I could still hold my own. But I think one of the, and you guys will never, let this go, but we're playing Gum Springs. And, people in this area, they know that Gum Springs, it's the hood, man. Like, you walk in, gym is hot. It's probably going to be a small, condensed area.
It's not a regulation court.
Nah. There's some hood moms in there. They're going to be talking smack. And I remember playing this team. This kid ripped me it was 2 times in a row, right?
Yeah.
Ripped me 2 times in a row. Obviously, my brothers and dad, they're in my ear. And I was a crybaby growing up, man. I was a crybaby. You don't have to add anything to that. All right.
Comment, man.
But yeah, I was a crybaby, man. So of course I'm crying.
Well, the crowd was on you too, though.
The crowd was on me.
Yeah, crowd was on you.
And I think they knew I was supposed to be like one of the better players on the team. Kid ripped me twice, and I was embarrassed. And again, in front of all y'all, I'm crying, man. So it wasn't an easy year. We weren't good either.
Nah.
We probably won 4 or 5 games. So yeah, that was definitely a growing pain, man. Obviously when you're a kid and you lose, kids cry all the time. But yeah, man, it was never easy. But after that year, ended up moving to play to Reston, where I played with Marcus, and ended up winning a championship. It was a much better team. I was finally playing my age group. We won a championship. I ended up getting most valuable player in that playoff.
In the tournament.
And dog, till this day, the heaviest trophy I still have. At 10.
I remember. Yeah, that thing was crazy.
I think it was the Russell Quinn Award or something.
Look at me, I never got it.
But I remember they would give a speech. The guy died in a car accident, so they named the award after him. And the team who we beat, I'll get into that later on, but it's very significant. But yeah, ended up winning a championship at 10, and then ended up going back to Herndon. Played for good family friend, and he was like a father figure to me, Coach Don Nemo. And honestly, man, he's the one who really, really started I guess the legend of AHAM, because he instilled confidence in me at a very young age. He gave me the keys to the car, and I was able to drive, up until high school, man. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for him, man, I don't know where my confidence would have been. It was just so valuable for someone that, for me, that young to have that much confidence. And like you said, I was always the lead guy.
Yeah.
And, those teams, man, we weren't the greatest. We were always small. We never had a big. But you look back on it, man, I was called to be a leader at 11.
And y'all were always competitive.
Yeah, we were always competitive. 3-time. Is he 3-time now? Quinn? Or 2?
I think 3.
I think Quinn Cook. He's got 3 championships. I've been playing against Quinn Cook. Just won a championship with the Lakers since I was 10. So we had battles with him. He was playing with Virginia Pride. Mm-hmm. Later DC Assault. But we weren't good enough to compete with those guys. But I learned, man, how to be a leader. I learned how to trust in my teammates. I learned how to keep my composure when things weren't going right, because I was the leader. Mm-hmm. They couldn't see me pouting. They couldn't see me down on myself. Things that I still carry today, man, and obviously throughout my career. But those times were so important for me as a basketball player because the most important thing that was instilled was confidence, man.
Yep.
Something that, I feel like if you would have had growing up, you would have been a completely different player.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, man, like, I'm not going to get into, like, all the... Well, I will tell you a crazy story. AU Nationals. I think I'm 11.
11, yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Playing with Virginia Vipers. AU team out of Reston, Herndon, whatever. And we go to Nationals in Lexington, Kentucky. We run through, like, pool play. Ended up playing freaking the Loudoun Cyclones, a team that's, like, right across the street.
Y'all beat every time.
We beat them every time. Shout out to my guy, Raleigh.
Raleigh used to be pissed, too.
But, yeah, it didn't make sense. Like, we're going to Nationals. Why are we playing a team from Northern Virginia?
Yeah, it made no sense.
Like,
it was like the first game, too.
Literally.
We're like, all right, let's just get this out the way. I already know we're about to get them out the way.
We go through pool play, get into, like, actual bracket play, single elimination, and we had some tests, man. Like, literally there were games where, I think it was 2 games in a row. One was a quarterfinal, one was a semifinal, where we literally came back from, like, 18 to 20 points both times and won those games. And I went off on both of those games.
They weren't supposed to win. Other than maybe your first round game, every game after that, y'all weren't supposed to win.
Yeah.
Was it D1 Greyhounds?
Yep. And a team from Cincinnati.
Team from Cincinnati, they're black and red.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think another part that I'll get into from that, the teams that I always played for weren't always the most talented. They never were.
No.
But again, I was groomed as a leader to know how to handle, like, again, I'm not comparing myself to LeBron, but I always felt like LeBron was his best when he played with less. You know?
He gets the most out of his team.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we ended up making it to championship game. Play this team from St. Louis. Shout out to Coach Herb, man. I love you. But this kid hit 7 threes in the first half. We didn't make any adjustments.
From the same corner.
7 threes. That's 21 points at 11. No adjustments.
And y'all were in a 2-3.
Yeah. We ended up coming back, but we just came up short. After the game, you know how moms are. They talk or whatever. And, my mom ended up talking to a mom from the other team. And the kid who hit 7 threes, it happened to be his mom, who our mom was talking to. And I had a good game, too, in a good tournament. And they said, one day you guys are going to play against each other. And we took a picture. Come to find out, man, fast forward to, I think I'm 17, going into my senior year of high school. I see this kid, he's all over ESPN. He's playing with a team from St. Louis. I'm like, man, that kid looks familiar. And it clicked, man. I'm like, I think that was the kid who hit 7 threes in the first half. And I asked my coach, I'm like, do you remember this kid? And he's like, yeah, look at the picture. That kid ended up being Bradley Beal.
Yep.
Who played for the Wizards.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
So, yeah, shout out to Brad Beal, man. I gotta tell him that story and show him that picture. Coach Herb has it, I think. But, yeah, man, I want to tell you that story because that was pretty cool.
Really good. And I did want to pause before you continue because the reason why I wanted you to talk about the experience with the first Herndon travel team when you played up is I feel like that prepared you more for the next year because travel is a big jump. And it used to be. I don't know how it is now, but it used to be a big jump from like rec league or house league.
Yeah.
And I think, number one, you got, do the ups and downs of that first year, but you also learned that, like, losing sucks, right? Because that was the first time you really lost because your first year we won the championship. Yeah. And then you talked about, how coach instilled confidence into you and basically put you in a position where you could be a leader. And, for those who are coaches leaders in business, like if you see someone who has that potential, you gotta give them the keys, man.
You have to.
You gotta give them the keys.
But also, like, I mean, Nemo wasn't. He was hard on me, man. Like, he used to make me cry all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget. And this is. It was really mom, but like this is part of it. Like playing in, remember Hoop Magic, playing at Hoop Magic, and ended like I picked the guy's pocket. Like I stole the ball from him. They called a foul, and he called the foul twice. Second time, I like, on the far course they had the wall.
Yeah.
I threw the ball at the wall, got a tech, and Nemo chewed me out, and. Mom being mom, she made me apologize to my team, Nemo, but most importantly, the refs, right? So, like, the lessons in that, man, start at a young age. Like, no, like, you're above that.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
You can't ever lose your composure like that.
Nah.
Because that's not your character, and quite frankly, you weren't raised that way.
And we need more parents like that. Because trust me, we deal with kids working with the goods. Parenting isn't the same.
It isn't, man.
It's not the same.
It isn't. It was little things like that, man, that, shaped me to who I am and, to as a man, now a father and, a leader, so.
That was mainly your, like, elementary to middle school.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, you were always kind of the chosen one, especially, once you got to the second Herndon travel team.
Yeah.
I think your first year of travel, you weren't ready to be a leader yet, but you were still the guy.
Yeah.
And then in Reston, you just had a really good team, and, you can play with anybody. And depending on the game, like, you were the go-to guy. But talk about... high school, man, and how that journey was, because I think a lot of people will be surprised what you had to go through, in high school to get to where you ended up at the end of your high school career.
Yeah, so I'll start by, 8th grade, you're playing on the AU circuit, and now you're about to be a freshman, and, all the top kids were going to private schools. So I'm like, I'm trying to go to private school.
Mm-hmm.
O'Connell, Paula Six, DeMatha, ended up really getting a look from Bishop Ireton out in Alexandria.
Yep.
It's funny, man. The recruiting starts at such a young age. The coach literally went to a conference. He knew we were Duke fans. This guy got a binder, a Duke basketball binder, signed by Coach K and gave it to me. First of all, I don't even know if you're allowed to do that.
Was that when you were in 8th grade or 7th
grade? In 8th grade.
I remember that. I just didn't remember.
Still have it.
When it was. Yeah, that's dope.
It's crazy. But ended up not choosing to go to the private school route. 1, because it was a hike. 2, I don't think they were offering me that much money. But I knew deep down I didn't want to go to private school, man.
Nah.
I saw freaking Scotty Reynolds do what he did at Herndon. I wanted to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go to Herndon.
Right.
So, yeah, I come in, I'm supposed to be the top guy. And, I'm going through workouts and everything. And tried out for JV. Ended up getting, demoted to freshman. I didn't play JV. I didn't play varsity as a freshman like a lot of these, top kids did.
Mm-hmm.
I played freshman. And yeah, it was tough because my best friend, who I played with since I was 11, made JV over me.
Jonathan Beltran, yep.
Shout out to John B, heck of a player. And it's like, well, I've been the main guy on my team literally since I was 10, 11.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing, he's playing over me?
Yeah,
What's
John
going on?
No, it's no disrespect to John B. John B was always one of the guys.
Yeah.
He was never the guy like Austin was the guy. So it was, the script had been flipped.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, see, with me, man, I was never going to wow you in a workout really, or pick up, and you know sometimes you can get lost in that if you're a coach, you're evaluating.
Yeah.
But when it's time to play and like you see, you know, you see what the real deal is, then it's different. And they didn't see that because they base it off of, and I've talked to the JV coach. He's like, man, it's crazy because like the player you turned out to be, I was like, you know, when Jordan got cut. From,
Yeah, exactly.
That's like what it was.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like he cut me, like Coach G, he cut me.
Don't
But
start on Coach. Shout out to Coach G, man.
Yeah,
I was hooping with him on Monday, man. Coach G still gets it in. He's still a bucket, man.
Oh, he can still hoop.
Yeah, he can.
He was my freshman coach.
He can.
But I was just
Don't coach. Just hoop.
But anyways, he cut me, man. But in that tryout, we didn't really do a lot of like 5-on-5, you know, like playing. It was just like drill, shooting drills. Cause you know, Coach G, he was a Duke guy.
Yeah.
You know, super analytical.
He's a fundamental.
I'm pretty sure he had an Apple Watch before the Apple Watch came out.
He probably helped design the Apple Watch. He's like an engineer. He's an IT guy. Yeah, he's one of those guys. He had a pin pilot.
The dude had a calculator on his like. It's like, dog, what? But anyways, yeah, man, I got moved to freshman, and yeah, I was devastated. Like, yo, this is wild. Like, I came in with all this hype, and I'm playing freshman.
Let me ask you this: because of what happened to Walt, Brandon, and me, because I was just coming off a terrible sophomore year, where I had the most probably one of the most depressing years of my life. Did you ever let it sink in that, man, like they're doing another Hamilton wrong? Like, did that thought come?
Definitely. It was like, you know, the story's been written again. It's being written again, and no, that definitely crossed my mind. Like, this is what all these years, man, playing AAU and doing all this stuff, we put ourselves in a situation to avoid that.
Exactly.
Because we saw it firsthand. Like, Brandon wasn't treated right. You know, I didn't get to see Walt as much, but, you know, we heard, and we knew how good he was, but he wasn't treated right. So, yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough. But, you know, I knew who I was. That's the most important thing, man. I knew who I was. I knew what I was capable of. So I'm like, okay, well, y'all put me on freshman, I'm going to destroy freshmen.
Instead of pouting, blaming the coach. Yeah, it's a mindset you got to have, man.
Yeah, it's a mindset because, you know, in life, like, things are going to get thrown at you unexpectedly. And we might get into that a little later, but it's how you handle it. And again, I've been groomed as being a guy and a leader. I'm not going to succumb to that. You know, I'm going to take full advantage of my opportunity, and I'm going to excel. And we won 7 games in a row and then lost the rest.
First of all,
oh my
your
God.
Your coach, I don't even know.
I'll be honest with you.
How did he get that job, first of all?
I'll be honest.
He didn't do anything. You coached the team.
I think Whelan found him off Craigslist. I'm not even joking.
Who was the coach?
I don't remember.
Exactly. I don't remember.
It was this old,
I don't remember.
Tall, out of shape white guy.
He used to come in with McDonald's every day. And
when I tell you, I would walk, because freshmen played at around like 4-ish or whatever. I would try to get, sometimes I would try to get to the games because I was on varsity with you as a junior, but sometimes I would be like, yo, can I ride with, you know, my parents to the game if it was an away game, and I'll see y'all later. When I tell you, Austin and Raleigh were drawing up plays, like they had a clipboard.
There's a Brad Bank, man, shout out to Brad, but he took a picture, and it's literally like, it's me with the clipboard at halftime, like in the locker room, drawing up a play. It's hilarious.
There's no coach.
So yeah, like,
he actually stole money. I said KCP was stealing money.
Like Mighty Ducks. When Bombay showed up late.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He stole like all $800 that he got for that season. But anyway.
But yeah, man. Yeah, we weren't very good, but again, what I took out of that was I was able to play. I got game reps. Cause yeah, maybe let's say I played JV, and to give Coach G credit, that team was really good. That JV team maybe lost like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, they had like 10 guards.
They were really good. So say maybe I make that team. I'm not playing, and I'm going backwards. I'm not getting game reps.
10,000 hours, man. You gotta.
Yeah.
No pun intended. You gotta clock in.
Yeah. No doubt. But yeah, I'm getting game reps. I'm killing, man. Like, it's crazy, dog. I had a kid playing at Fairfax. This kid literally asked me for my autograph. No lie.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, I was playing freshman. The kid asked me for my autograph.
At halftime, how was
I remember. I don't know, but I remember hitting a 3 from like Dame range. Like, it was deep. And yeah, this kid asked me for my autograph.
It was at Fairfax, right?
At Fairfax.
I remember getting to the game. 'Cause I didn't show up to that game. And they're like, yo.
You would have thought I was freaking Scotty.
They're like, yo, your brother had like 20 in the first half.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Like, I got 20 shots in warm-up. That's about it. Like, what you about to do tonight?
Yeah, man. So,
like, dang.
I mean, the moral of that story was, like, I had all these, these aspirations to play at a higher level, but just like life, man, sometimes that's not in God's plan.
Right.
How are you going to adjust to it? How are you going to take advantage of that situation? And I took full advantage and really excelled. And, kind of created a legend for myself playing freshman. So, yeah, that's really the story of that, man.
Then next year, this is where things really get interesting, man. So that summer was an interesting summer. Actually, let's take a step back. Let's go back to the spring because Coach Whelan had you play on the varsity spring league team.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if you started from the jump, but I think after the first, you were starting at the end of the spring league.
Yeah.
So what was that like, man? Going from like Coach, G putting you on freshman to literally 6 months later, you're playing with varsity players and against varsity players.
It just I trusted the work that I put in, leading up to that. Again, I've mentioned this when we're putting out teasers for Mother's Day, but yeah, Mom, she's the one who really ignited the fire, man. Like, she would get us up 6 a.m. She would go work out, and we would, we'd follow her lead. And as a freshman, I was a little pudgy. Wasn't in the greatest shape, but I knew in order to get to the level I wanted to, I had to get in better shape.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'd get on the track and we'd run, grew a little bit, and, played well in open gyms. And, yeah, we're playing, was it Westfield?
Westfield, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're playing Westfield. I think John B started.
He did. He started over both of us.
He started over both of you guys. John B starts, my best friend. And I love John B, but he wasn't ready for that level yet.
Not to be the starter.
No, he wasn't ready. And I remember it, man. Like, John B starts. He doesn't really play well. He puts you in, and you weren't doing. I guess you weren't doing enough.
I wasn't playing bad, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you weren't standing out.
I was just, I was just not making mistakes, basically.
And, Whelan, man, I could hear his voice, from anywhere, and I know that's Whelan. I remember him saying, like, Austin, go get John B or whatever. And I go in, and it was comfortable. And ever since then, I started for the rest of my life.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I took advantage of the opportunity because I knew I belonged. But it started with the work. It started with The craft, man. I had a really good game, and I became the starting point guard ever since. But just I knew I belonged there. Like my coach used to always say to visualize yourself in certain situations. And I knew my time was gonna come.
Right.
I mean, he put me on varsity for a reason.
Right.
And yeah, man, I took advantage of it. And fast forward my sophomore year, I go from playing freshman, on the freshman team, and then sophomore year, I'm second team all district on varsity. And after that, junior year, district player of the year, co-district player of the year. That was BS. I shouldn't have been co.
No.
And yeah, man, it was crazy. Crazy jump. You don't hear that a lot.
Nah, not even.
But again, it all started because I knew I belonged, and I knew what I was capable of. It was just a matter of getting the opportunity, and then once I got it, took full advantage. Hey guys, thanks for clocking in with us and making it this far into the episode. We want to continue these episodes for as long as possible, but we might need your help. If you click on the description on each episode, you'll find a link that reads support this podcast. If you enjoy keeping up with us, click on that link and you can make a monthly donation. All right, you guys hear enough of me talking anyways, so let's get back into the episode.
Before I get into your senior year, man, I do want to ask you a personal question. And I've never asked you this. And I'm curious to hear your answer because it means a lot to me personally, man. You started over me.
Yeah.
You're halfway through my senior year, your sophomore year. You started over me. The last half we started together.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, man, I always appreciated, and my dad, he said this multiple times, like, you both handled that in a godly way, which is why we were blessed after. But I know my side of it. I was happy to be playing with you again.
Yeah.
And, I've always been, in my opinion, one of your biggest cheerleaders. But for you, man, like, at that age, we were starting to become like friends, but usually we argued, like we weren't, we weren't there yet. You were still my little brother.
Yeah.
But you never rubbed it in. You never made me feel a certain way when you could have. And a lot of people did. So how did you approach that situation, like with me, as far as you starting over me and handling it in a way that, was graceful, honestly?
Yeah, it was a little bizarre at first. But I knew I had to play basketball. Like, I couldn't worry about that. But I also knew I wouldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for you. Because, again, I've been following you since I was born.
Yeah.
And I needed you to be there. Like, if you weren't on that team, I probably wouldn't have had the year I had, Like, if you weren't on that team, one, I don't have the confidence, I think, to do what I did. And two, I don't have someone to push me and keep me accountable,
right.
But I know I needed you, man, because, like, there'd be time, and still to this day, there's times where, like, I have to depend on you. And part of it was, like, I'm waiting for Whelan to they're like, yo, put him in the starting lineup, because, like, I'm going to need him, Like, I've been playing with him since I was a freaking kid. Like,
right.
We don't lose too many games together.
Nah, rarely. It's very rare.
And that's still to this day. Yeah, still to this day. So yeah, it was tough, man, because I knew it affected you to some extent. But I mean, I knew who you were as a person, and you knew I knew you would always, you know, encourage me and be there for me. Like, you weren't gonna take that personal.
Right.
But I also knew your time was gonna come, because the chemistry that we have when we play together is different.
Mm-hmm.
And when you finally got your opportunity, I think you started pretty much
the rest of the year.
We
didn't lose many games. We lost like 2 games when we started together.
No.
But no, I just wanted to ask that because I thought
I've
about
never,
it.
I've never really talked about it.
Yeah, we've never talked about it, and it always meant a lot to me, because if you know our relationship before, like, he probably would have. I don't know if he's never been in that situation to make fun of me about something, but if it was like, you know, I lost the game to, you know, somebody, he'd fry me about it. Like, shout out to Travis Williams, like Travis from the South Lakes. He was my arch nemesis. And
I used to hype it too.
He's decisive, like, so he would make fun of me about stuff like that. So he could have obviously rubbed it in. No. But he didn't. So anyways, I just wanted to ask that before you get into your senior year. But senior year was big for you, man.
Yeah, it was. I think what really kind of made a name for myself and, you know, our family as a unit on the basketball side. You know, coming off of being co-district player of the year, you know, the expectations were there. I had a really, really good AAU summer going into my senior year. That's when colleges started to call. You know, and here's another important story, man. People that are in the basketball world, they've probably heard of the AAU organization, Team Takeover. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Keith Stevens, man. He's the best in the business on the AAU side. But you know, I have a really good junior year, and I didn't play AAU going into my junior year. I played a couple of tournaments, but I made the mistake of not playing, because that would have helped me as far as getting on Team Takeover, which I'll get into for my senior year. But yeah, Team Takeover is one of the best AAU organizations in the country. They put out Division I players left and right, NBA players as well, and had the opportunity to try out. Had a really good tryout, but ended up not being on what's called the EYBL team, where they travel and play in all these top tournaments against the top talent.
It's like the A team.
Yeah, like the A team. But, you know, it was history repeating itself. You know, like, when I was a freshman, I had to make the most of it. And Keith told me, you know, he was like, look, man, clearly you need to be on this team. Like, you should be on this team. But because I didn't play the year before, I essentially wasn't in that system. And Keith was loyal to some guys that had been with them, you know, throughout the years.
Right.
So he put me on the B team. But I remember him, you know, having a conversation with Dad and was saying, like, look, man, like, if he would have been on my team, he probably wouldn't have got the playing time that he needed to get seen. And again, I go back to that freshman year. If I played JV, I probably don't get the time that I, you know, needed to show Whelan, like, oh, this kid, like, there's something there.
He obviously should not be on freshman.
Yeah.
Averaging like 25.
But I was able to showcase that by playing. Again, the moral of the story is sometimes it doesn't matter where you are, you know, it may seem sexy or not, but, like,
yeah.
Are you able to showcase your craft? That's the most important part. I was able to showcase my craft and my skill set, and people are always watching, you know. And, you know, they saw something in me, and they took an opportunity or a chance on me, and I took that opportunity. So, yeah, AAU season comes. I'm on the B team. Same situation. You know, I have to be the leader once again. And, you know, have a really good AAU season. We go to the last tournament, and we ended up making it to the Final Four. You know, I'm playing in front of all types of coaches. The first game that we played, last tournament was in Florida. Jim Larinaga calls Keith Stevens, who wasn't my coach. So this, again, coaches were calling the A-team coach asking about me.
Yep. Which doesn't happen.
Which doesn't happen often. Like, they're asking him, like, yo, what's up with this kid Austin Hamilton? Keith is like, oh, well, he's on the other team. So, again, man, it's sometimes, yeah, that situation may seem like it's best for you. Because I would have got all the gear. I would have had all the shoes. Yeah. I would have played on TV.
On social media, it would have looked good.
Yeah, it would have looked cool. But I would have been on the bench, maybe getting like 5 minutes a game. But instead, I was over here where I was free, man. I was hooping. Jim Larinaga was coach at Mason at that time, came and watched me play, like sitting front row. Where the bubble was this year, that's where I was playing.
Right.
Like,
which
literally the exact same court where
That's
LeBron
crazy.
and them won a championship. I was playing on that court.
So that's why you got the 3-1 comeback?
But anyways, we're over that, right? But yeah, I had like, when I tell you I was killing, man, I was killing. Like, I picked up like 12 offers after that tournament. So I'm feeling myself, man. I'm coming into my senior year of high school. I'm ready to go. So yeah, senior year comes, and I think the most important part of that team was when I look back of who it was with. It was the same core guys: Jonathan Beltran, Riley McKenzie, Matt Stevens, guys that I grew up playing with. And I mentioned the championship, when I was 10 with Reston, we beat Chantilly. All right, and we'll get to that later. So yeah, senior year comes, and I've got offers. There's hype around me. I'm projected, district player of the year, first team all region. I'm in the All Met. For those of you who don't know, All Met was like the top players in this DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Guys like Kevin Durant, made All Met. Steve Francis. You name it. All the top guys that have come out of the DMV have been on that All Met list. If you make the All Met list, then
you're the goods.
Yeah, you're the goods. You'll be respected forever. And the bar really was Quinn Cook. Junior year, Quinn Cook was player of the year. And I remember I'm working out with Walt one day, and he kept saying that, like, yo, you gotta get where Quinn got. So that was my eyes, man. Quinn's always been the standard for me. 'Cause like I said, I've been playing against him since I was young.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, my goal for that year was to be on that All Met list. First team All Met. So yeah, season comes. We ended up losing our first game to a really good team. Ended up having a guy who's playing in the NFL right now. Shout out to Mo Ali Cox.
Mm-hmm.
He's with the Colts and some other Division I players. But after that, were you about to say something?
I was going to say, I did want to stop real quick because there was something that I think they should hear that happened before the season. You had something on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a ranking.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was Game Day or ESPN, but I wanted you to talk to them about that real quick before you get into like the details. You remember what I'm talking about?
What was it? You gotta remind me.
It was I want to say it was ESPN Rise, and they had you as like honorable mention All Met.
Yeah.
Or like fourth team All Met.
Yeah.
Preseason or something.
Yeah, they had me like super low. And I'm like, first of all, I'm looking at the list. I destroyed him in AAU. He's on second team. First team, I gave him 20. Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
So I'm okay.
And you put that, was it in your locker or was it on your room?
I think it was in my locker. It was in my locker.
Yeah. You can't leave that. You can't leave that out.
Yeah. No, I had a hit list for sure. So yeah, season comes. We ended up winning a Christmas tournament, that's really what started the whole year, man. We go down to Hilton Head. It was so fun. And I got MVP of that tournament. We won it. So we come back to Virginia, ready for conference play, like we're ready. We ended up, to start conference play, we ended up losing our first game to Oakton team, which they weren't very good, but for anyone that knows this area in basketball, Herndon I would compare, playing Herndon was like playing Duke. Like, people were going to come ready to play that game.
Yeah, always.
That game was always circled on the calendar because it was Herndon, They ended up beating us, but technically they had a kid who was ineligible, so they ended up like taking the win away, and we ended up getting the win. So we ended up going undefeated regular season. We beat, I mentioned his name earlier, but Chantilly. Now, the story with the Chantilly team, I've been playing again, beat them in the championship with Russin. I go to Herndon. Chantilly destroys us for like 8 years straight. Literally.
And in AAU, Fairfax.
And AAU.
That was basically half their team was Chantilly.
So when I say, like, this is my last year ever getting a chance to play against these guys, like, this is personal. Like, literally, like, it was personal.
Yeah, it was.
The Chantilly team had two 7-footers and a 6'9" kid. Our tallest player that consistently played 6'2.5", 6'3". We beat him twice in the regular season.
One off a game winner. Shout out to Riley McKenzie Jr. Yeah, that was one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. Yeah, man. So we go in number 1 seed into the playoffs, and this was the time where I needed to make a name for myself at Herndon. Because again, Scotty Reynolds was a bar. Scotty Reynolds was the first McDonald's All-American to come out of Northern Virginia, probably since Grant. Grant, yeah.
Since Grant Hill.
Yeah, since Grant.
And Scotty won championships. So I knew in order for me to even just have my name in a category, I had to win a championship. And I didn't have any. We lost early my junior year. We lost early, or semifinals, my sophomore and junior year. So my senior year, we get to the district championship, and we're down 20 at halftime. And then I'm starting to get flashbacks of that story I talked about.
Yeah.
AAU Nationals.
Virginia Vipers.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, it's like God puts you through these situations for a reason. Like when I tell you, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been coming back, and
He's
like
not lying.
seriously,
He's
man,
not
like
lying.
it's
Y'all
crazy.
had some crazy.
It's crazy, man.
His team's
like,
had some crazy.
Yeah, man.
Comebacks,
It's really crazy. And I remember going into that locker room, like I was just calm. Like, we're not losing this game. You can ask Whelan, you can ask anybody on that team. I said, we're not losing this game. Yeah, man, I remember, this was a legendary play. We're making our run. It started by Riley McKenzie. Riley made the run, and Riley started the run. He hit a 3, and after he hit that 3, it was a wrap. I think I hit like 4 straight threes. And to really kind of cap it off, John B, again, we were like peanut butter and jelly, man.
Y'all were like Stephen Clay.
Literally.
That's literally what y'all
literally.
were like. Y'all were like Stephen
John
Clay.
B's, penetrating. He's going through the pocket in the middle. There's a dump off pass. I come behind. I hit a 3. Cash from deep too. We'll have to pull the clip up, Neek, but
yeah,
I'll never forget, like, Mikal, he's on the bench. He's, like, doing this. Shout out to Mikal, man. But, yeah, man, we ended up winning that game. But it really just, like, it's like when you look at the whole picture, man, like, people don't know, like, yeah, I had this crazy run my senior year, and I got all these awards, but there was a lot. I had to go through a lot, man.
A ton.
And for it all to come down and end like that, it was sweet, man. Especially with the core group of guys that I grew up playing with who weren't, the most talented, and then to beat the team that's been killing us my whole year, my whole career, was sweet. So yeah, we ended up winning that, and we for me personally, man, obviously I wanted to win a district championship, but the region is really what I wanted. Because Scotty Reynolds, again, the only team, I think they're the only team to win a region at Herndon. I mean, to win a region. Maybe that state championship team, maybe.
Yeah, because Ricky and them lost.
Yeah, they never won.
Ricky and the year after, they lost to South Lake Center.
Yeah. So I really, really wanted to win the region. And how it works is if you win your region, you get to go to the state tournament. We ended up losing in the semifinals to get to the state tournament in the regions to TC Williams. If you guys have seen Remember the Titans, it's that school.
Mm-hmm.
But people say, like, I hear this a lot, you guys overachieved. No, we didn't. We won a lot of games. And we didn't think we overachieved.
Which is why you got to where you got.
Yeah, we didn't think we overachieved. So yeah, man, it was a special year, man. I ended up getting, Northern Region Player of the Year. And again, you go back to what I had in my locker. I was honorable mention All-Met. And I was blessed, man. I ended up making the first team All-Met. I'm gonna give myself a but yeah, man, like to say
first team all state,
but like to say I'm in the company with like Kevin Durant, Quinn Cook, Mike Beasley, all these guys, man, like that's something I'm always gonna hold on to.
As you should.
So yeah, it was a really special senior year, man. That kind of created the legend of AHAM and, the Hamilton family.
Yeah, I talked about this on the Goods episode. That was the first time I had cried in a long time. I can't remember the last time I cried. And I remember Mom calling me when you guys were down like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you cut it. I don't know what the score was at the end of the fourth quarter, but it was still they still had a decent lead. Maybe 8.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
They were in trouble.
But they were in trouble.
Yeah.
They were in trouble. And Mom called me. She was actually crying because you guys were down. And she called me about 15 minutes later saying they won. I just broke down, man. I just broke down because it really... If you listen to episode 10 if you haven't, it was
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry again.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I'm not crying today. It's Friday. Friday night. It's not allowed, but yeah, man, it was a huge win for our family, man.
Yeah,
it was kind of like everything that we had went through. And you may get into this next, but his name it's in the rafters.
Yeah.
And it says Hamilton, and I'll never say, well, it's a family victory. Nah, I mean, he earned that crap, but it, for our family, it was a victory.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I look at it. I look at it like that, like, yeah, man, if it wasn't for you guys and, all the battles that we had, all the lessons, the criticism, the encouragement, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have been there, man. Like, I say all the time, like, that's not me, man. That's the family. Like, sure I was playing, but nah. No, that was for the family, dog. Yeah, that's probably one of my most proudest moments in my career to have. It's high school, whatever, but like, I mean, that's forever.
It's forever, man.
It's forever. And I got a son now who'll have a chance to see that one day. you know, maybe he plays. Who knows? But
even your nieces and nephews, man.
Yeah, and grandkids.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was shout out to that 2011 team, man. I'm taking that team over any Hamlin team. Those are my guys, man. Shout out to y'all. But yeah, man.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy just walking through all that, man, because I lived through it and saw it. And, you know, after that, obviously, you made your choice to go to Elon. So, before you get into that, I mean, I figured it'd be cool for people to understand, like, what made you choose Elon to begin with, and then kind of talk about your career there and lessons learned, you know, wins, losses, ups and downs, all that.
Yeah, no, Elon was it was on my radar from the jump because they were the first school, one of the first schools that recruited me. You know, Coach Matt Matheny and Tim Sweeney, they would come to our open gyms, fully suited, looking like they were freaking mobsters.
Sounds like something they would do.
Yeah. And that's kind of where it started. And, you know, throughout that process, they kept in contact. I took visits to St. Francis out in PA. I took a visit to Howard. I was gonna take it. Well, I took it unofficial to George Washington, but it came down to George Washington and Elon. I go down to Elon for a visit. Fell in love. You know, anyone that's gone to a school in North Carolina, it's to me it's the best state to go to a college in. Like, the weather's great. You get that Southern hospitality. It's just it's a college just state.
You're right. It really is. There's like
there's so many
80
there's
colleges.
so many schools that border it. But yeah, man, I fell in love with the campus. Elon is, like, no lie, probably, I think it's number one, like, prettiest campuses in the world.
Yeah,
like,
it's
every
gorgeous.
Every
It's
year.
gorgeous.
It's a great academic school. And from a basketball standpoint, I was really intrigued by who they had on their roster as far as, like, young talent.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as I said before, I never really played with, like, that type of talent before. You know, I've played with some guys that were good, but, like, this was different. And I was excited to, like, potentially do this. I wanted to see, like, how can I help this team? Because I saw how much potential we had.
Right.
So, yeah, I took a visit. And, you know, on those visits, man, they wine and dine you, and, you know, you go out with the team, you have fun. And my high school coach, Chris Whelan, he always told me, man, because he's very involved in my recruiting process. And he told me, he's like, look, man, my only rule is just don't recruit, like, on your visit. And I call him, you know, it's late at night. I'm like, I'm coming here. And he's like, come on, man. Like, I told you, like, relax, like, sleep on it. And I was like, nah, man, this is where I need to be. And talked to Matheny, and he's in his office, and I committed on the spot on the visit. And yeah, man, that's where God took me.
So yeah, Elon, I remember watching them play Duke. Growing up.
That was another thing.
And I mean, not to, like, be that dude, but their
Yeah.
team was, like, all white.
Yeah.
So when he told me he was going to Elon, I'm like, you about to be running Princeton offense, man. But this dude about to turn, he's going to go from AI to Eric Snow. About to have this dude doing all types of better basketball DVD stuff, but nah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and that was another thing that I was really excited about because they played all the big dogs. You know, they had a very good strength of schedule. You know, they played Duke pretty much every year. They played UNC, NC State. You know, all the big time schools, and I wanted to be on that stage.
Right.
You know, my coach, my college coaches, that whole staff really, for the most part, they came from Davidson. Matt Matheny, the head coach at Elon, he was the main recruiter for Steph Curry.
Wow.
So, you know, being able to learn under him, somebody
that's a good selling point right there.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, somebody that learned and was able to be there with Steph, and this was like right after Steph made that crazy run in the NCAA tournament.
That was 2009.
Yeah.
When he did that. Yeah.
And I got there 2011, so, you know, I was fresh, and I'm like, man, this guy coached Steph, like, maybe I could be the next Steph.
Yeah.
So that was my thinking, like, man, I got an opportunity to, you know, to really do something with this. I know, another boring ad, but I promise this is super important. I want to know, are you registered to vote? Headcount is a nonpartisan organization that works with the music and entertainment industry to get fans to vote. To update or check your voter registration status, go to headcount.org, where you'll find all the information you need to be ready for Election Day. At Headcount, you can also check your registration status. Millions of people get purged from the voter polls every year. Everyone should check their registration status. The deadline to register to vote in some states is as early as October 4th. So please get out there, guys. Spread the word. Vote so we can be the change. So yeah, man, you know, I won't go through all the, you know, the whole career, but I come in as a freshman, you know, there's some hype around me. You know, I was supposed to be an impact player like from the jump. I ended up first game of the season, man. Starting point guard Shorter comes out of the socket. We're playing UMass in what they called it the cage at the time. This is like old school.
That's me, dog.
It was like old school. You know, back
cage.
in the '80s when Calipari was there. That's what they played.
Marcus Camby.
Yep. And I'm telling you, it was hostile. I'm a freshman, dog. Like, and I wasn't expected to play this many minutes, but he goes down literally like first 2 minutes. So it's like, all right, bet. My number was called. And I played well. I had like 12, 13 points. We ended up losing, but, you know, that was my first test, man. And I just remember, like, being hard on myself because I wanted to win that game. But, you know, it was different, man. It was a different environment. It was so fun. But I knew I was ready, man. I knew I was ready. Fast forward to the next game. It was my first start. We're playing South Carolina, University of South Carolina, Gamecocks. They came to Elon, which was rare. Like, a big-time school never comes to small or mid-major
Yeah,
school.
they never want to because they know there's a chance that something could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, man, first start. And, you know, I was ready. Ended up beating South Carolina. You know, it was a big-time win, man, for the program. You know, they rushed the court. It was televised. And it was a crazy day because that same night, there was a couple other upsets. I can't remember who was playing.
Like Kennesaw State beat somebody.
Yeah, something random. But Dickie V was calling a game, and he gave us a shout out. He was like, "Yeah, man, there's been a bunch of upsets." He's like, "Elon beats South Carolina," so we're getting mad love, man. After the game, you know, we're all we didn't get a chance to like go out and party because we think it was like on a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a random day in the middle of the week.
But this is really cool, man. I'm in my dorm room, and you know, my guy, I'm rooming with my guy Ryan Winters at the time, and he had a TV on his side, and I'm legit like about to pass out. I'm getting ready for bed. ESPN's on, and I'm like half asleep. Top 10 plays come on ESPN Top 10 plays, or SportsCenter Top 10 plays, and I look at the screen, and play number 10, and it's like, shout out to the Phoenix. Elon upset South Carolina. And sure enough, man, it was a missed shot. Shout out to my guy Sebastian. He like taps it out to me. I catch that joint on the wing, knock it down. and that was like pretty much like the game sealing bucket.
Yep. Dagger.
And I'm telling you, I'm half asleep, and I'm like, wait, what?
Life-changing moments.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, I'm on freaking ESPN top 10
Top
plays.
10. I woke up to like 15 text messages. Like, yo, your brother was on
I remember that night.
Sports
I
Center
remember
top
that
10.
Y'all called.
And I was like, yo, are you serious? I thought they were playing because it was weird. They only showed that top 10 like once. It wasn't on like every Sports Center. It was weird.
Yeah.
So I had to
night joint.
I had to look for it. But nah, man, you got to air horn yourself. On that, man.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
It was crazy. Like I said, like I wasn't expecting that. Like I knew it was a big deal, but like I didn't know I was gonna be on freaking Sports Center.
Right.
The next day, you said your phone was blowing up. I remember my Twitter was going crazy, like everything. But yeah, man, I knew, man. Like again, like I knew I was different, man. I knew what I was capable of, and quite honestly, you know, not to toot my own horn, but like I was better. I knew I felt that I was better than Elon. Just to keep it a buck with you. Like
I agree with you.
I felt Elon getting me was a steal.
It was a steal.
Because, I mean, I had some bigger schools coming in. And
Northeastern.
Yeah, they came in late, but, like, I felt I knew I belonged.
Right.
And, you know, that freshman year was really good, man. You know, I had some a lot of ups and downs throughout my career. Specifically, I ended up getting mono. No, I wasn't out there, you know, kissing girls. Like, honestly, I probably had the corona before the corona. Keep it a buck with you.
Man, had corona 15?
Yeah, dog.
COVID 15?
Ended up getting corona
Chill,
mono. Nah, I'm playing. And one game in December, go up for a layup. I come down on my wrist, and you know, halftime that joint's bothering me, right? And I ended up playing. I just remember it wasn't right, and we ended up, you know, rehabbing and, you know, doing some physical therapy, and it got stronger, but it was actually my left wrist, but it didn't feel right. So I'm coming off of, you know, not healthy wrist, mono. I think I missed 9 games or 8 games off of mono. So the team kind of, you know, they struggled. I think if I would have been there, we win at least 3 or 4 more games. We ended up winning 15 games that year. But having mono in the wrist hurt me from getting freshman of the year.
Yep.
I ended up making, you know, the all freshman team, which was awesome. But you
should have been freshman.
I would have been freshman of the year. Yeah. My coach told me that. He's like, at the end of the year we had meetings, like, you would have been freshman of the year. So that was tough, man. It was tough, but again, I knew the next year I was gonna come back stronger. Going back to, you know, getting that wrist, it later came to haunt me because it was still bothering me, and talking to my trainer, you're like, all right, let's go get an x-ray just to see. And the day of, like, literally I'm getting taped for our spring workouts, and the day before that we got the x-ray. So I'm getting taped, go in the training room. He's like, yeah, your results came back. Like, your wrist is broken. Like, you're out. I'm like, what? Yeah, you're out. Ended up having to get 2 surgeries on my wrist. One of the surgeries, the second one, was on my birthday.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was on my birthday. So that was unfortunate. I wasn't getting enough blood flow off, you know, from the first surgery. So I missed out the off season. Going to my sophomore year, I finally get to practice. And I start off the year pretty well. You know, we had a game against Butler. The first game I had like 15. And I'm having a good year. Fast forward to January. Yeah, man, I'll never forget playing Western Carolina. I drive middle, come to a jump stop, and then knee gave out, and I knew something was wrong. and walked off the court. And he didn't play the rest of the half. I go into halftime, and I think my trainer knew what it was, but he didn't want to tell me because I actually was gonna play I wanted to play the second half.
Right.
Ended up not playing. Next day, the knee swelled up, and you know what that means.
Right.
Ended up tearing my ACL. So I go from having surgery, 2 surgeries that summer, 2012. Play in January. Play up until January. Torn ACL. And yeah, man, like it was tough because it's like, I go from being this, highly touted recruit, had a really good senior year of high school, had a really good freshman year, and then all these injuries just pile up.
Yeah, back to back.
Back to back. So yeah, man, that pretty much derailed, that year, and then kind of carried on to my junior year. I made a full recovery. Started off the year really well, and then I think some stuff happened. I'm not gonna get into it, man. I'm not gonna harp on that.
Yeah.
There's politics are involved in basketball. It is what it is. But yeah, ended up not really having a great junior year.
Well, I'll say this: he didn't have the opportunity to really have a great junior year.
Yeah.
As like he should have had that opportunity.
Yeah, and again, and part of it, the importance of having an off season, man, for any athlete, like, please don't ever take advantage. Don't ever, take for granted having an off season. Like, I didn't have a full off season until going into my senior year when I got to college.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Think about all the reps that you miss.
All those hours.
All the hours, just the rhythm, right? Junior year we were picked to win the league. Part of that, preseason pick was the fact that I was coming back. Like, if you look at the write-ups, it's like, well, Hamilton's coming back. Like, they're returning a really good group of seniors. Then you add in Hamilton, like, I don't see too many teams beating them.
Right.
Which shouldn't have happened.
Not in the SoCon, no.
But the key in that was I was coming back and I would have been, involved. But, ended up not working out that way, man. And probably for the first time in my life, I lost confidence. To go from, being this highly touted, coming in freshman and being the guy, lost confidence, man. Like, I was shooting like 20-something% from 3. Just wasn't the same player. Probably the first time ever in life where I didn't really like basketball, to keep it a buck with you. And yeah, it was tough, man, because again, I knew how good I was. I think everyone did.
Everyone did. Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't work out that way, man. But me being who I am, I'm not the one that's just gonna get up and leave. I had opportunities to probably leave Elon and, find a new path, but I've always been loyal to really my word and, my teammates, man.
Let's keep it a buck. Like, family members, coaches, friends, they were like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were getting pressured to to bounce.
Yeah.
And they had a legitimate reason to say what they said, but yeah, I wanted to say that because it wasn't just that I could have left at opportunities. You had opportunities, and pretty much everyone in your circle was saying leave.
Yeah, literally.
So
literally, I mean, I considered it, man. But just me being who I am, I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna stick it out. Senior year comes, we lose 5 seniors, 4 of them scored 1,000 points, so we lost a lot, and I think we're picked to win last, or not win, picked to finish last.
And you're in a new conference.
In a new conference, we go from the Southern Conference, where Davidson was in, Seth Curry came from there, some other good players, to the CAA, which was great because we would play games that were closer to home.
Yep.
It was a new opportunity and just a new start for Elon, athletics. So senior year comes again. I was named captain, and for me, man, like out of all the awards that I've gotten, being named captain is something that I'm probably the most proud of, because it just shows that it just really shows your true character.
Yeah, it's not about talent.
Nah,
it shouldn't be at least.
No. It shows your true character. It shows who you are as a competitor, as a leader. So yeah, I was named captain. I probably should have been named captain as a junior, and it might have been a different story, but that's not here nor there. But yeah, senior year comes, we got a young group. We're struggling at times, but for me, I was like, man, this is my senior year. Like, what am I waiting for? And it was still, the junior year was still kind of lingering to a certain extent.
Yeah, definitely. Mentally, I could
see
that
it was still lingering.
It was, you still weren't, there was still some hesitancy.
Yeah.
To be you.
And then I got to a certain point where I just had to look myself in the mirror, as a man, like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, they used to call me the Austin Hamilton at school, and I had to tell them, like, yo, I'm the Austin Hamilton. And you, I remember you saying this, playing JMU. We ended up losing, but I got in double digits finally in scoring.
It was like
12 I would have
points.
like 9 games where I'd have 8 points and could never crack double digits.
Yeah.
Once I got double digits, it was over.
I said
over.
It's a wrap from here. That's all he needed. That's all he needed.
Next game we played Delaware, and I've told this story before, but throughout that game, I think it was my first attempt, definitely my first 3 attempts, I shot an air ball. But at that point, man, I decided, no, I'm not gonna go back to what I was doing before as far as my mindset.
Yep.
No, I'm gonna stay true to who I am as a player, as a person, and I'm gonna walk in it. I mean, the rest is history. That game, I had 31, my career high.
I was going crazy.
But yeah, man, it was just like it was a fresher breath there. I think for a lot of people, because again, I came in, like, this is who they knew should have been, that player.
Right.
I should have been that player. But I was just like, I remember just like brushing. I was more like frustrated. Like, I could have been doing this since I was a freaking freshman.
Facts.
But I think we're really, I guess, hindered, my time there, man. Like, I was so used to, as we talked about, yo, here are the keys.
Yep.
Here are the keys, man. It's yours. And, I would lead from there. And this was the first time I was never truly, like, handed that. They never communicated to, like, yo, this is your team. Even my senior year. So it was the first time I really had to, like, I'm just taking it. Because we had a really good freshman, Elijah Bryant. Shout out to my guy Elijah. Who ended up being the freshman of the year that year. He's playing in Turkey. He's doing his thing. He was the guy getting all the shots. But, I was like, nah, man, like, I'm not going out like this. And then, after that game, man, I was probably the hottest player in the conference for, like, the next, like, 8 games.
Yep.
We beat the top. It's crazy. We ended up finishing, like, 8th or 9th or 7th. First of all, I was never going to finish last. I don't care who the heck was on my team. Like, Nipsey could have been on the team.
No way.
We weren't finishing last.
No way.
And I made sure of that. We literally beat the top 3 teams. It was like a 3-way tie for first place. We beat all of them.
I remember. William and Mary, Coastal.
UNC Wilmington.
UNC Wilmington. I always get them confused.
Yeah, and Northeastern.
Northeastern, yeah.
And we handled them too.
Double-digit wins.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like the AHAM that senior year, because even the freshman year, I was still reserved. Like I didn't get to go off like I wanted to. I had some 20-point games, but like that senior year AHAM where I'm pulling up from freaking the parking lot,
the volleyball line.
Yeah, that was AHAM.
Yeah,
like all this 20% from three. Like you look at my stats weren't great. But the real no, man.
And here's the thing, like, if you look at the game, the impact he had on the game, even when he wasn't scoring a ton, was still obvious. It was still obvious. So it wasn't just, oh man, he's out there slumming. He wasn't slumming.
No.
He just wasn't shooting, the attempts or shooting, at his usual level. But defensively, facilitating wise, like when he came in the game, and you can talk about this real quick, the UMass game, when you came out your junior year.
Yeah. Yeah, we got, yeah, man. Yeah, that could be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to, call people out and.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
It's late night, so
yeah, we're not gonna get into.
I'm trying
that.
to get spicy, but
I knew I was different, man. And when I finally realized that for myself, that's when I took off. I think a lot of us, man, we tend to be timid and reserved, but when you put in the work and you stay true to yourself and you understand I belong here, go for it. Like, nah, God gave you that talent. He gave you that ability for a reason, man. Go for it. Take it. It's yours. So that's what I had to do, man. And but most importantly, I had to take some steps back. And like, I remember, the Bible app, they have the different devotionals, and I would read that. My senior year schedule was amazing. Like I had like one class, so I'd wake up like every day, like freaking 8 o'clock, 9, go get breakfast, and by myself I would read that joint, and that's when the turning point came, man. I leaned on God, because I wouldn't have been there without Him.
No.
And I think at times I forgot about that, But yeah, man, I ended up, finishing out that senior year on a good note. We lost in the quarterfinals, but I was able to live with myself and, not have any regrets, man. Because I didn't want to go out like, playing timid and playing afraid to make mistakes. Because it was the last hurrah for me. It was my last chance playing college basketball. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to end on a good note, and I did. So yeah, man, it was again a lot of ups and downs. It was a roller coaster, but it shaped me to become who I am today. And we all need to be battle tested, man, because that's really gonna show who you
what
are
you're made of,
as a person. And we can wrap up soon.
Yeah, we can get into the professional stuff on another pod.
Yeah, but I played a year in the UK where I established, the kind of network that I have there. Played in Jamestown, New York. Yeah, man, it was, it's similar ups and downs, but, I was content with what I did, man. And, the ultimate goal was to be a professional, and I did that, and I can live with that at the end of the day.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I'll say this, man. I was proud of how you handled the adversity because I didn't know how you were going to handle it, honestly.
At Elon?
At Elon.
Yeah.
I did not know because you were always the guy.
Yeah.
And you deserve to be the guy there. But, our family, we're not a selfish, confrontational,
no,
type of person where
Because we can
We're
get,
gonna
we
go
can get-
complain.
Yeah, we
to
can
the-
get spicy here.
We can get spicy, but we're not gonna I'm not gonna complain.
No,
to the
what I'm
coach.
saying is exactly. Okay, I'm gonna keep it above with you guys. When you're in these white institutions, I went to a PWI, predominantly white institution, especially on the athletic team. You know, some of these parents of these players, they have some sort of influence, whether it's donations, whether it's boosters who are white. Again, I went to Elon, dog. It's a Southern school.
It is. It's called what it
It's
is.
probably the first time they've ever had a black player who was probably going to be the face of the program.
If they allowed it to be, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'm not making assumptions, but from what I saw, I wasn't. They didn't want me to be.
You weren't the prototype.
No.
That they were used to.
And even from a basketball standpoint, like the system we played in was like you said, like all white kids. Like they weren't used to the flavor that I had. You know, like I remember playing
DMV swag, man.
Yeah, it was different,
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
It was different. Like going into my freshman year, we went to Europe. We're playing against professional teams. Awesome trip. I got to go to Italy, Germany, Austria. It was amazing. In those games, again, I'm playing well. And I remember doing like a behind-the-head pass. Dude drops it. It was a great pass. And coach was like, well, we don't do that here. What? Like, it was a great pass.
What is this? The Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Is this Hoosiers? The Hoosiers movie?
So yeah, it was things like that, man. Like
2012, man. Come on.
I wasn't able to be free. I wasn't able to be myself. But yeah, man. You live and learn. You're gonna have to go through certain things. But again, I don't regret my time at Elon, man. It was one of the best 4 years of my life. I was able to meet amazing people, lifelong friendships. And yeah, man, I love my team. I love the people that I met. And that's family, man. Shout out to Elon.
Yeah, shout out to the Elon family, man.
And, they're coming up, man. Watch out for Elon. They got some young guys. I can see them really taking that step that I wish we could have. We have potential, but as a unit, we didn't have it. But I think this team can do so.
Yeah, honestly, man, I think God is going to use your story and your testimony to influence a generation of Elon players. And other players obviously do the goods, but they'll bring you back one day, man. And you're going to make an impact because, there aren't a lot of people who would have handled that situation the way you did in two ways. One, not complaining. And
never complain.
Second,
could have.
And honestly, I could tell by the people involved, they were waiting for you to. Like, it was almost like they were, and even our family, I mean, we said a couple things, but they're waiting for us to, like, go off.
Yeah.
Go off. Like you said, predominantly white institution, we're black, like, that's a stereotype. Like, we're about to go off on you, but we never did. But the second way is you realize who you were, man. You realize who you were, and you bounce back, and you finish strong. So, man, a lot of life lessons, with Austin's story, man, and during this episode.
I'm still a bucket too. Let's not.
Forget that. Don't get it twisted.
Look, man. If the Lakers need me for the repeat, you know what I'm saying? Me and LeBron, it's like, I'm not gonna get into that, man. You feel me?
I don't feel you, actually. Not this time.
LeBron and D-Wade 2.0.
Yes, sir.
You used to call him D-Wade.
You look like him.
And you used to be like, man, Austin, I remember he used to be like, yo, Austin's so smooth, man.
His game was like...
He's like, his game is smooth. He's like, yo, how
it's slow, but until you try to guard him.
Yeah, he's like, yo, how's your brother move that slow, but he's still going by people, but it doesn't look like he's...
It's all about pace.
Yeah. Nico was like...
Thought of it first.
When you were on varsity, when we were on varsity, like, Nico used to talk to me about you all the time. Like, yo, your brother's tough, man. I really don't know how you be cooking for real, But it's smooth, like he just be chilling, man. And that's like Nico's life saying, I just be chilling. Yeah, he's like, your brother just be chilling on the court, man. But look, man, I'll let you wrap up with the clock in MVP of the week.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah, this is special.
You know the nominees. So
yeah, no, like I said, I ended up when I played in the UK. I played a year for the Essex Blades, and also got my master's at the University of Essex. So really cool experience, man. But throughout that time, met some really good people. But these two in particular, I've always always admired them. They're a couple, biracial couple. But it's funny. The female, she's like one of the first people I met. I get to the UK, man. We go to freaking Tesco. She drove me to Tesco to get groceries, and dog, when I got there, I didn't realize like they didn't have like a meal plan. Like I'm used to freaking Elon, like chefs, swiping, and they're like, yeah, like we want to take you to the grocery store. I'm like, okay, like we can go, sure. I'm gonna get like simple stuff,
Oreos, and freaking fruit snacks.
But later on, like I'm like, yo, I need to actually get like food. Like I have to cook. And then I didn't know that until like week 1. I'm like, oh crap! Like, I'm like, yo, I have to cook food. I'm calling mom like, yo, rice. Like, what do I do with this?
It's many times. Mom's made rice.
Yeah, every day. But yeah, man, she ended up taking me to Tesco, and then later on met her boyfriend, and they've been good friends of mine ever since, man. So yeah, man, this is our first clock in couple MVP.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, shout out to Len and Marlon, man. Congrats on being clock in MVP, man. You guys deserve it. MVPs. They're a special couple, man. They obviously on the physical side, but they're very very cerebral when it comes to just like reading books and like mentally growing and developing themselves. And Lynn, she sends me different recommendations as far as like movies and stuff. And Marlon, he's just a beast. Like he played volleyball, a really good volleyball player. But yeah, man, they're special people.
Something about like clocking in as a couple.
Yeah, that's different.
In any area
that's
of life.
Different.
In any area of life, but that's admirable. And she just started her own like organic.
Yeah.
Oils and stuff like that. So I think her IG is Lynn's Organic Shop or something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I don't know y'all, but I've been
we're all
admiring
gonna meet.
from a distance.
We're all gonna meet, man.
Yeah, we gotta make a clock in trip to the UK.
Yeah,
man.
Lynn's Organic Shop.
What's up? We out there.
Yeah,
baby.
we gonna do a live show, man.
Fish and chips, all that.
I'm gonna be out there sounding like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince. You hear me?
Yo, you're a fool, man.
Alright, man.
But yeah, let's just be right. It's kind of hot in this room.
Yeah, it is hot, man. It is hot. Because it's like 74 in October when it's going to be like 40 in 2 days.
Right.
But
Halloween's like the official coldest day.
That is true.
That is the start of the cold.
Yeah. That is true.
I don't.
Here? Yeah.
It's bipolar from September until end of October. But all right, y'all. Look, man. Appreciate y'all clocking in with us.
Yeah, man.
Friday Night Live.
Hold up.
What
Before we log off, man.
What we got?
I got something for y'all. We're gonna let the beat rock a little bit. But hold on, I got something for y'all, man. So episode 20. It's a milestone, man. We're going here to celebrate. Shout out to Bel Air. This is cousin Andre. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But we're gonna pop a bottle, man. 20 episodes in. You know what I'm saying? Big time. But shout out to the team, man.
Let me ask you this though. Is that bottle for your 3-1 comeback? Is that for the 20th episode?
Yeah, I need my goggles, dog. I need my goggles.
We do need some championship goggles, but
yeah, man. Yeah, this is big time, man. You know, we've been putting in a lot of work, man, behind the scenes. I gotta figure out how to freaking open this thing. But yeah, man, I figured we celebrate.
It's a celebration.
20 straight weeks, dog.
20 straight weeks.
20 straight weeks, man. You know, we're gonna pour it up. I don't even know if this is regular.
Here we go.
There we go, man. Everybody, yeah, y'all gotta get in the pick, man. Y'all gotta get in the pick.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta get in this thing. Yeah, we're gonna pour it up. I got you. Yeah, man, this is a team right here. We on the
Andre.
bigger and better things. Actually, I got one for you too.
Gold cup.
Yeah, with the gold too. Yes, sir.
I got the coffee. I end up with the coffee. I end up with the coffee.
Oh man, missed out on the commemorative.
We good though.
Yeah, man. So this after 20 episodes. Maybe I
down there.
I thought I had another one. Oh yeah, this is me.
Look it out the OTA.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
yeah, man. Episode 20, man.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man.
Clock in.
Celebrate
Clock in.
20 episodes in, man. Hold on. We gotta let the people know, man. We're gonna take a little break.
Yeah.
We should let the people know.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do this at a high level, and you know, we honestly, I mean, I'm keeping a buck with y'all. I think we have the best local podcast, in the area,
no question.
And a lot of that has to do with
no question.
Eric, aka Gressel, Nico, aka Mr. Foley.
We on our Brussels, our grind and our hustle.
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be at this level.
We wouldn't be
man.
at this level.
You know, the quality that you guys hear, you know, on the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
You know, they really took us to the next level.
Really did.
If it wasn't for them, I don't know if we would have made it to 20.
Y'all was still here, you know, lawn mowing in the background with my dad.
Freaking fans. It's gonna be cool
my
to
mom,
hear.
My mom telling us to come eat dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But we're probably gonna take a 3 to 4 week break. Maybe, you know, all of November. We'll see. But honestly, it's to take a step back and make sure that we're providing the best experience for y'all. We want to get better, and it's more of a strategy time for us to, you know, again, regroup and figure out how we can make the Clock In brand not just the podcast, but everything better. We'll still have some content. We'll still have some new things coming. We'll be creative. So, you know, stay clocked in to the IG. I would go back and look at the YouTube episodes that y'all haven't.
I was gonna say, man, it's a good opportunity for, you know, people that, especially the new listeners, just to get caught up.
Yeah, get caught up, and
you know, we put in a body of work, 20 episodes, man. That's a lot.
Season one,
man.
And,
yes, sir.
And do us a favor, write some reviews.
Please.
Please write reviews.
Tell
a friend. You know, tag us when you're clocking into anything, man. Again, it's a lifestyle. It's not just about fitness. And I don't know if you have had anything to add.
No, that's it, man. You know, we, like you said, you know, we need a break. You know, we need to clock out for a little bit. Especially, you know, Eric, Neek, but also just as a group to, you know, figure out how we can get better.
Yep.
Because, you know, we feel we got something here. We want to take it to the next level and, you know, broaden our reach. So, yeah, it's needed. You know, hopefully you guys will understand. I know for some of y'all, it's been a part of your kind of Tuesday routine.
Yeah.
But, you know, we feel this will be good, man. You know, it'll be good for you guys to kind of get a break, but we'll be back.
Yeah.
Trust me.
We'll be back,
man. But,
like Jordan in 95.
Yeah, man.
96.
again, man, we appreciate you guys. 20 weeks. Toast to you guys. We love you, man. Continue to clock in. Y'all be safe, man.
Yeah, let's get it.
Clock in. Clock in.
Yeah. We put in work and here's the proof. What you want?
I'm making moves, punching in.
I'm on it too.
I'm in the gym.
I'm in the stew.
It's hunting season.
Where's the food?
We push each other daily, level up.
Cause that's what brothers do.
Clock in.